Howdy, my name is Bishy, and today we are playing more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Also, I am back from an unintentional 2 days away from streaming, so sorry about that. But I'm back. We have a new internet router now, and maybe, I'm crossing my fingers, maybe this one will be better. I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. But yeah, so we're using the new router today and tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully well. But either way, we're here and doing some more Ace Attorney Chronicles. We are specifically in episode 4. And we left off kind of in the middle of like an episode here. So we were just interviewing these two characters. An old man and his wife who's posing as a servant so that people think that they're rich. Anyways, I have notes from last time, so I should know what's going on. Anna, shut up! What do you mean shut up? Bishy, shut the fuck up! Okay. I'm in the naughty corner. Oh, the Ruuuvo looks so good. Yeah, I have my phone next to me. I saw your comments. I'm streaming, so I was gonna wait till after stream to respond, but thank you so much for your comments. I can't even, oh my god. Welcome in, howdy. Thank you very much. I was so excited to post these pictures. I've been editing them since we got back from the con like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it took me this long to finally finish everything. Seriously, my favorite RGG cosplayers of all time. Aw, thank you. And you could tell y'all had a blast. Yeah, it was pretty fun. I liked taking the pictures. The funny thing is the place where we took the pictures was sweltering. So I think that's also part of why we forgot to do some pictures. Like, there were particular poses and things that we wanted to take pictures of, and we just forgot. So we'll just have to cosplay them again. I'm looking at my notes for what to talk about. Don't want to know what happened to me today. Me and Ruuuvo. There was a snake in our house today. You love snakes? I like pet snakes. I don't like wild snakes in my home. But it was non-venomous. It was like a rat snake. There's a lot of those in Texas. And this is technically the second time a snake got in the house. But the first time I didn't actually see it. I just saw it shed skin. And then it was actually outside already by the time we did find it and relocate it. The one today was on a shelf in our living room. Now, okay, I want to set the scene for y'all, okay? Me and Ruuuvo are just in our room, lounging on our phones, playing games, whatever, relaxing. And then we both hear this crash of stuff, like, falling. I'm like, what the hell was that? And then, like, we start walking out in the hallway out to see what was going on, and we hear another crash. I'm like, what is happening? And we're, like, looking around. I don't see anything on the ground. I'm like, what happened? And then I hear Ruuuvo, like, just pointing at the wall behind me. And I, like, look, and it's this giant snake on a shelf. It had knocked over all the decorations that were on the shelf, like, you know, photo frames and little knickknacks and stuff. And it was just chilling on the shelf. So I was like, called my family. I'm like, there's a snake on a shelf in our house. So anyway, they came over and helped us relocate it. I tried to get it with like this pole I had, but I don't have anything that can really grab a snake safely. And you know, they're docile, the type of snake it was, but I'm not used to handling snakes. I don't know if it would be aggressive when I try to get it. So anyway, I had someone else come and get it. And then they put it out in a field somewhere, but oh my god. But anyway, let's switch over. We are in the middle. Let me just make sure this is not going to turn off. Okay. We're in the middle of this episode here, of this section of the game. So the very last thing we did last time was, the character on the right is a veteran, from some kind of war. And he had a love note in a book. His wife found it and slapped him, and in the process destroyed the room, caused a fire, the whole mess. We just found that out, and we're trying to figure out if this whole thing is relevant to the case. It probably is. Yeah. And yes, he is, like, themed after the moon, and she's, like, themed after the sun. In the middle of whatever disaster happened up in this place, yeah. A house fire, technically. Alright. Mr. Garridem. It's... Oh, what was his voice? It's these dashed long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my old novels there. Yeah, he claims the love note was because the book was donated and he just picked up the book and took it home, and it's for somebody else. Because it's not his name on the love note, it's someone else. Oh, I didn't pick up on the pun, I'm sorry. Oh, Pally's coming to the Switch. Yeah, I think I heard about that. I think I heard about... Yeah, that's totally valid to wait for that. And it's not finished yet, so... Yeah, just if you want to get in on the beta and, like, report bugs and stuff like that. I reported a couple bugs, actually, the other day, just to, like, help out. But, you know, all in all, I haven't had that many glitches. Like, it's been really good for a beta, you know. Didn't even notice the sun and moon thing, really? Yeah, I think we collectively picked up on that last time. I think, like, I saw his head shape, and I was like, he kind of looks like the moon, but I didn't clock that she was the sun, and someone in chat had to point it out. I was like, oh! Alright, and in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material. Illicit? Makes it sound more serious. For which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems. Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be rather closer to the mark. And beast is most certainly an apt description. Ah! Here we go again. This is why I almost lost my voice last time. Last time I played this game after stream, I was like, because this guy yells every 5 minutes. Here we go again. And the carpet? Was that destroyed by fire when a candle fell on the floor? Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. It's caught between the old Styx rage and the raging flames. You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. That's sympathy for you. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. We've had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being. Over here, Mr. Garridem? Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me. Sherlock, so... Oh, sorry, Herlock! So nosy. That's bad. Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. White lit, as the kids would say. Gosh. Then the wife started hurling things at me. What a terrible sight it must have been. There was I, backed up against the window under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite, book called The Lion's Pride. Yeah, he said lit. He totally said lit. The Lion's Pride. Ah, yes. Your notorious love of big cats coming through again. I assure you, the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest. So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast's rampage. Mr. Sholmes's deductions turned out to be correct once again. No. No. It can only be described as a great British wonder. I tell you, it was total carnage. Flames everywhere, and the old stick in full fettle. Out of interest, what time of day was that? Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see. Around 5 o'clock, I think. So at exactly the same time as a terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below. That is important. Okay. Happened at the same time as the stabbing. At 5. Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. Sure. The whole of Blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment, and I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing. Oh, Really? Liars! They're lying to us. Why is your head shaped like a waxing crescent? You can't just casually ad-lib like this. Of course I can! It's my thing! It's what I do! Mr. Sholmes. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. What can I do for you? Well, I think we've got to the bottom of Mr. Garadeb's situation now. But what does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be of relevance or not. I just knew you were going to say that. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only two categories, those relevant to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. No matter. Tone of voice was wrong for that one. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry? Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over. Oh no, at that time already? If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to. That's it. No more time to think. No think. Perhaps you'd like to betake yourselves to bidding us farewell now. That's a very polite way of saying get the hell out of my house. I must prepare my supper for Mr. Garadeb. Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. Thank you both very much for your time. Soseki-san will be waiting for us, and I'm going to have to give him an answer. Alright. We're on the move. No think, only trial. No think, only objection. No think, only... Objection! Okay, let's go back to the prison. Let's go to jail. Hey, hi. Object to thinking. Sir, I have a thought. Objection. 19th February, Briar Road. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. We must hurry back to the prison. Yes, I know. Let's hail a Oh. What's the matter? It looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garadeb's house. Who is this? The first thing that popped into my head was Prince Charming from Shrek. I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Who are you calling an old man, you rum-looking nimini-pimini? What are these words they're making me say? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Who's this Horatio fella, eh? What are you on about? Excuse me. Eh? What the? Who are you now? I'm sorry. It just looked as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see. You can't just be inserting us into every situation. Eh? A lawyer? What? If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I have studied English law. Fine, I'll be on me way for today, but you mark my words. This ain't over yet. And he did a little pose. Just like all British people do when they're done speaking. Get thee to a nunnery! What? Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you? We don't have time for this. I don't know if I'm supposed to hate or love this character yet. I'm on the fence. I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden! Thou art so gentle! Thank you! What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here? In the BishiDove residence? Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right! Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. Are those like plastic jewels or something? Mr. BishiDove mentioned that he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Oh, yes! A gentleman named Natsume! Oh, more worthy a polemist in my battle of words near there could be. Sorry? Battle, did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. Oh, so fair maiden, so good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well. Okay. I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. It seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. Soseki-san and that man as lodgers, the BishiDove house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go and find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return. Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Looks like his tailor got a jester and a prince confused and tried to make up for it. Just glued plastic jewels everywhere, like those ones you'd get from like a gumball machine as a kid. Alright, we're back with the author. And 19th February, 6:31 p.m., local prison cell 9. Yeah, we need that British warning now. You don't like the jester, Ruuuvo? I can't tell if he's supposed to be a jester or what. I think he looks like a jester? I don't know. Get thee to a nunnery! What are the Pip Pip Cheerios going on here on this day? Oh. Is that his bicycle in the back? Yeah, and he actually rides it like that, like ka-chunk, ka-chunk. With the broken wheel. Or maybe he just rides it like a unicycle and the broken wheel is like up in the air. That'd be very jester of him. Oh, it's you! You're here! You came! Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! I can't believe you came back! I'm so touched! We are so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume. It's so funny because I feel like the way I voice everyone, Susato and Ryu are the only like normal sounding characters. Just talking normal. And everyone else has a voice. Oh, no! Think nothing of it! Relax! If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. He does love cats. Noble, nurturing, never failing Nipponese! Oh, and now, let's not get carried away. Oh, I quite agree. There is nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand... Oh. It is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. Such is my belief, at least. It's you! The miserable, rotten spy! Sherlock Holmes! Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? You're so fun. Oh, I was about to say, what's so funny is he could literally reach over and like open the door, and then I saw the lock on the bottom. I was like, oh, never mind. I have no intention of doing anything per se, save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room? At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is the superior option. Isn't that sad? Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny. Ah! You! How dare you, Sherlock Holmes! I can't! Oh my god, I can't say Sholmes fast enough. Ugh. Ugh. I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings. No doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is bedamned! Bedamned? What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean. And there is much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say, for the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Alright, let's talk. First trial. Mr. Natsume, what did you mean by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed? Oh no! Why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous! I was just getting carried away, that's all! I didn't mean anything by it! Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? Are you referring to the prosecutor? The Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please, tell me! Summarize it succinctly in 16 salient words! No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution, ever. Oh my goodness! Can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly! Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGilded. What? Oh, I am impressed, Miss Susato. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes, surely it can't be that, having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zieks killed the man himself. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. Surely? You have some wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer, he's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. Oh, yes. Why, of course he is. Oh, of course he is! Then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that? The Reaper. Wonder if Natsume was really like this IRL. I don't know enough about the man to say. Like, I haven't looked up a little biography about him or anything. I'm not sure why they characterized him this way, if it's like based on how he really was, or if they just wanted to put a little silly spin on the character. I mean, Sherlock Holmes wasn't like Herlock Sholmes. So it could be just a creative spin. I don't know. He definitely could use with some counseling. He could definitely do with that. They went through so much effort to design a fake country. This Britain place is so interesting. So fantastical. Van Zieks is a quite exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. Ah, that's good. Soseki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there is both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage, by any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling impostors as witnesses, and so on. By such underhand means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury, which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. but it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly is from time to time, my dear madam. It is simply the reality of the situation. And that's all right. However, those indicted by Lord Van Zieks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my. Though the adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom, within months they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? Ah, by all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. I think it's just Thames. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever. Or perhaps attacked by highwaymen. Oh, no, no, no! This guy already has anxiety. This is just making him panic. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, it's Thames, not Thames? Okay. Thames. Like Tammy from Undertale! Now I won't forget. I knew it. I'm dead! Dodo! Done for! Doomed! That's what he's doing. First lodging. Yeah, both Ace Attorney and Ishin characterized him like this, so I'm thinking he might have actually been this way. I think some of his books may have been considered more out there, but not to this level. Okay, so maybe, I don't know, they just... Both IPs wanted to, give him a little silly spin? I think, like, creative types tend to be kind of characterized this way as well. Like, think of a lot of, like, painters in fictional games and stories, or just artists in general, like sculptors, whatever. I think a lot of them are kind of, like, painted as, like, weird and eccentric and out there, so maybe that's the way that this guy got characterized too. I don't know. When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Garrideb's house, I assume. Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain, but I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long, then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time, from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room, but even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. You must have been very lonely, having been away from your homeland for such a long time. I've had to move a number of times, most recently to that room on Briar Road a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money, it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed. Oops." He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late. So I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it! But if not, don't mention it in the first place!" Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean, the room really is cursed, then? Ever since I moved in that windowless hellhole. My sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded as a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits! If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? No one at all? That's him right now. He's like, wouldn't anyone help me? Wouldn't any person nearby listening possibly help me? Maybe? To believe, yes. Believe. Believe. Do you believe in life after love? If only there was a big, strong lawyer around who could sweep me off my feet and simultaneously save me from being killed. found guilty and then killed in mysterious circumstances. Mr. Sholmes. Ah, me, Mr. Naruhodo? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on the SS Buryo, if you recall. The Buryo. The Buryo. Ah, that case. The one with the snake. Snake? You say? Don't mention snakes today. Don't talk to me about snakes. Well, yes. At that time, I was a suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is why? Why did you believe me? I see. Yes. You mean... because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room. Oh, well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised. The answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in. What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I am concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning... whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right. He's right, locum student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. Whether or not I can believe myself. Kazuma! A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. I miss him. You were so right, Kazuma. Well, my dear fellows, it's time we were leaving, I believe. Already? Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Like, looking behind him. Oh dear, there is never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsume, if you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire! As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday, and although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? Wait, oh, something crucial! What to believe in? The defendant, justice, or the truth? How to believe, even. But I think I've finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo! And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire! I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end, with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was in many ways made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Miss Susato. Yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. Just like... Shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind, but it's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Soseki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it's my job to help him. Fight his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom. With all the strength I can muster. To be continued. To be continued. Next time, no, just kidding. Only streaming for 30 minutes, no. We'll keep going. Alright. Let's save here. I did see that, Arkham. I did see they're doing a new Scott Pilgrim anime. I think it's coming out on Netflix. I may watch it. 20th February, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's Antechamber. Well, I never expected this. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon? We are on a study tour of Great Britain with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may well be his or her one and only time in court, and it could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning! I don't know who's speaking, okay. When I don't know who it is, I'm like, I'm not gonna give this a voice. Ah, Mr. Natsume, good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. Oh dear, are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. Yeah, his eyes are red. The early bird catches the worm, as they say here in Britain. Yes, I've heard that expression. But I really don't want to catch a worm. So I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wink! And now I'm absolutely exhausted. Do all literary people take things so literally? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives! My whole future hangs in the balance! I'm too terrified to tremble! But you are trembling. Really? Because I can feel tremors in the floor. I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire. Yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looked like the opening night of the opera. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Oh, neither did I. Do you know why that might be, Miss Susato? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea. So that all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence then, is it? Don't hide the truth from me! It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Lord Van Zeeks? Is that right, Miss Susato? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Zeeks is on the front page of every one. I knew it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he? Oh, I don't remember that. Trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Zeeks' return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGilded. What a harrowing experience that was. I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's. We wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived at the country. Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking, and they are all speculating various answers. Mundane! Mundane! It's the most significant saga of the century to some of us! Oh dear, I meant no offense, Mr. Natsume, but that is how the papers are describing it. Well, lest we also forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity with the trial of 2 days ago. Yes, I agree. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. It's you! Me? Well, I suppose that's true. Both times it is you who stands against the legendary prosecutor. I can't read today. It can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper! Please, I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers. I'm afraid that there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another example, Mr. Naruhodo, of your uncommon bad luck. Thanks for that. Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such frail fortune? By the least lucky lawyer alive! So mean. Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student, new to London, with little in the way of experience or skills or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end, and I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume. Oh, benevolent locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! He's gonna say that every time. You're not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we will always be by your side. Oh, benevolent non-locum assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquiress! I am in your debt forever! I shall never forget this great kindness. Mr. Natsume, counsel for the defense! I'm having trouble reading. Chat's having trouble typing. Oh. Ryu is trying the best he can. He can't control his luck, unlike me. And started. Ooh. He is doing his best. I love Ryu. I love him as a protagonist. I think he's great. Court session is about to begin. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once. And I'm loving seeing the progress of him not believing in himself and over time getting more confidence. Just like Phoenix did, you know. Alright then, Mr. Natsume. It's time. Let's go. Yes! He's so scared. I can't blame him, though. He's in a terrifying situation. Imagine you go to a different country where people already are judging you because you're from another country, and then you get accused of a murder you didn't do, and then no one wants to represent you and won't speak your language anyway. I mean, that's terrifying, realistically. This is it. My second appearance in a British courtroom, and my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because this time, I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last. Just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. And you know what sucks with Kazuma, too? Like, in the original trilogy, Mia is gone just as quickly. But she comes back. You get to talk to her and see her. And in a way, she doesn't really die because of that, right? Kazuma's just gone. Like, he's gone, so... Everyone here except Sholmes deserves a break, yeah. Sholmes doesn't deserve a break. 20th February, 10 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Oh boy. Here we go again. This is where I get stressed out. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. Yeah, you look just like a vampire. Just Dracula sitting there. The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed. Sorry, what? Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago. A mere amateur. Do you have a point? Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Sato-san. After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. Very true. And a most fascinating, if dark, trial it was, too. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquitted and his unfortunate violent end. And then I don't know the story here, you know? I don't know if he actually is responsible for these people dying, if it's some kind of weird supernatural coincidence thing. I don't know. Thank you, counsels. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in court as impartial members of the public? You never know when you might be down on your luck, but I believe in fair play for everyone. Oh, so we have all different characters, right? I mean, every case is gonna be different. Well, I must warn you, I'm rather more ruthless than I appear. Why does she remind me of Olive from Popeye? Oh, well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow. I only have like 3 or 4 different British voices, so you know what? Why are you here? I'm afraid to say I think it's quite possible that mustached foreigner did the deed. Of course you would say that. Of course you would, Miss Pretender. Come on, what are we waiting for? No doubt he did it anyway. Sorry. Didn't quite catch that. What do we got now? You're just a little group of people here. I'm very suspicious of the fake servant lady. Very suspicious. She should not be on the jury. She knows the defendant. Very well, let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Van Zeeks. Like, she cannot be impartial. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsume. And while our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, the student is accused of a most sinister act. Of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. A knife crime, I tell you from— And then isn't this the banker from the first case? I thought so. A knife crime, I tell you from bitter experience, those are the worst. Bloody oath they are. Just look at that solo complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese. Oh! Come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Sorry? Didn't quite catch that. They only have so many models for characters. Even the maid is just being reused. They're gonna pretend she's not a known character. She's new. She's new, of course. Pray, forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hallowed chalice here in this great chamber. Allow me to call the first witness to the stand. Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please. It's her evil twin, who is also pretending to be a maid. Oh, it's the fish and chips man. Your name and occupation, please. Yes, sir. Why am I giving him a southern accent? He has a super British accent. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard. There we go. I will say, southern accents are the closest in the US to the British accent. I've talked about this before, but in case some of y'all weren't here when I talked about it last time, the southern accent is literally just a slow, drawn-out version of a British accent, and is closest to what the original, you know, pilgrims, basically, would have sounded like when they first came here to the US. So. Yeah. Fun fact of the day. Southerners are really British people. In disguise. Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector? The victim The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. Like a Cockney accent or a posh one? I honestly don't remember, so I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Just, I guess, a generic British accent. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. I'll look it up. Let me see. A southern accent similar to British. Probably posh, because this says aristocratic. So the higher class of society. Mm-hmm. Which is funny, because a lot of people like to, what's the word? A lot of people see a southern accent as kind of like someone who's lower class, you know? I don't know. I've seen that happen a lot. But yeah, it actually derives from the higher class of British society. So probably posh. Stereotype. Yeah, stereotype. I couldn't think of the word. Alright. I beg your pardon, Inspector. Thought to be. Yes. Having been stabbed in the back by her attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since. What? They don't even know who she is for sure? Oh, dang. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna write some stuff down. So victim is in a coma. It's the incident. Some other stuff that happened. Let's see. Natsume thinks he's cursed. Room he was in was cursed. Felt like people were looking at him or talking about him. Okay. We basically just started the trial. We have our first witness on the stand, but he hasn't really said much yet. Yeah, same accent, but one's associated with intelligence and the other isn't. Yeah, it's odd, but most people don't know that the Southern accent is really close to, like, old British. But I thought that was a very interesting thing to learn, because I would never have thought that, because I feel like the accents are so different. But I watched a video, I think in the last few months, of someone who, like, went from, like, probably posh British to Southern, and they literally just kind of, like, drew out their syllables and everything, and just gave it, like, a drawl, but it was very similar when they put it that way. Really interesting stuff. Comatose, I see, but her life is not in danger. Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Yeah, it's not a murder. Pray, elaborate on the details, Inspector. It is really weird going from posh to Cockney right here, though. Like, I'm struggling so much right now. If I could ask everyone to look at this street map... As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, at around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles. It had not long since stopped snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared, and she's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far. Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, if you please. Case file has been entered into the court record. File containing an overview of the case and details about the victim. She was found with a knife in her back and is currently in hospital, yet to regain consciousness. I tried doing it. I don't think I do it very well. I can't, you know, I'm not an accent expert, but, you know. Yeah. Found with a knife in the back, currently in hospital, and still unconscious. Okay. What of the weapon that was used? Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back. Ouch. That big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down the street now. With a heavy blade like that, almost anybody would have been able to stab the poor woman. Even the scragged-looking Soseki-san, I suppose. Common or garden jackknife, I would say. Rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. Court accepts the blade as evidence. The jackknife has been entered into the court record. Large but commonplace folding knife found lodged in the victim's back. Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume? What we can tell by looking at the woman's possessions, it seems she's a poor student herself. Hard to imagine she would have had anything much worth pinching, my lord. Okay. So, motive isn't money. Victim doesn't have any. She don't got no money. As a counter to the furious Britishness of this game, I'll do an even worse Irish accent. I won't. I had to with Miguel did. Oh god. I see. Well, in that case, are we looking at some deep-seated resentment toward the victim? I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim. Yes! If theft and grievance had been ruled out as the motive, what reason could Mr. Natsume possibly have had for stabbing the young woman? Yet you arrested the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way. Objection! Excuse me? Pray, forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. Just threw a full wine bottle and... okay. But your words have soured its hallowed bouquet. For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here. What? Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the Nipponese student. Yes, sir. Ace Attorney dialogue is a struggle. Mr. Natsume's arrest. As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was an unusually light fog. Oh yeah, I forgot it was foggy. So now we're hearing from Gregson. Lots of fog. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else about but the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor, and he did run away from the scene. Those being a number of old books he'd just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. So then why would he stab her? It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. Yeah, so, found Natsume because he dropped his books. Old books, you say? Yes, my lord. I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime taken immediately after the incident. Oh. We haven't seen this. Oh my goodness. No blood. That's odd. Why is there no blood? Ah, yes. I can clearly see the books to which you are referring. I'm gonna take note of that. No blood on victim in picture? Question mark. I will take that photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector. Crime scene photograph has been entered into the court record. Photograph of the scene taken by a policeman just after the incident occurred. A large knife can be seen thrust into the victim's back. You Nipponese are a spineless breed. Too cowardly to admit defeat. Jesus Christ. Denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Well, Forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but the defendant is not denying everything, as you put it. What are you doing, Miss Susato? Do go on. Mr. Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, now that you mention it, when we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us what had all happened. As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran, as fast as my legs would carry me, back to my accursed lodgings. A green overcoat. Well, that's exactly what the woman in that print is wearing. Oh my! A photographic print in full color! What will the world come up with next? A defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. That does not mean that he's guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back. There was nobody else there at the time, just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there is nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. A fact that the accused concedes. Ugh. Seems this cross-examination could prove to be pivotal, counsel. Proceed, please. Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. Colors? What's next? Moving pictures? Mr. Natsume's arrest. As I said, yeah, it was 5 o'clock, and there was a lot of fog.
Hold it!
Light fog, you say?
Well, light for London. You could see the opposite side of the street for once. Not much farther, though.
That's light, is it?
Around these parts, yes. Not something I'd expect a Japanese fellow like yourself to know, of course.
I've read that London is famous for its fog, but in my country, people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful appearance. How quaint.
Yes, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize, as I expect you can appreciate.
I see.
At this time of year, the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm.
Indeed. The other day, I was very nearly trampled by horses before I could see the carriage they were pulling. Ugh, Susato-san and I should definitely remember to stop, look, and listen. However, on the day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. A fact no doubt lamented by the accused. Okay, visibility was good, and there was no one else around but the victim and the accused. I mean, is it possible that someone threw the knife at her from far away? I don't know. Okay, so there was fog, but good visibility. You could see across the street. Okay, so if someone says later, oh, I couldn't see all the details because the fog was so heavy, then I can use that fact to contradict it, so. Confirmed, Britain is a Silent Hill level. Yeah, that's the game where they made up the place, Britain. It was in Silent Hill. Yeah, visibility was good, there was no one else around. Okay. How are you able to state that with any certainty? Quite simply, my learned friend, because that is what the witnesses to this crime have told us. Ah yes, Inspector Gregson mentioned the witnesses yesterday, didn't he? I'm so curious who the witnesses are. That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard. Oh! Those Scotland Yard, like, shoes? Let's get some shoes. Almost 2 years. Oh my god. Yeah, 2 more months and it'll be 2 years, right? My goodness. Oh, Ruuuvo, I am out of paper stars. If you have any, that would be amazing. Thank you so much for resubscribing for 22 months, PC Man. And yeah, I can't believe that you've been here for 2 years. That is wild. Every time someone's like yearly anniversary comes up, I'm just astounded that y'all have been here that long. But I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. And as soon as I get some stars, I will put one in the jar for you. We are almost done with this one, actually. Very close to being filled. We just need a few more. Chat told me we had to wait for a few more. This is not full to chat, so I let them call it. So we still have some more to get in there. But it's very close to being done. Oh, Twitch Mobile acting up. It always does. How do we check our time? For following? I think it's following. Yeah, that's the command. It just doesn't work for me. Because I can't follow myself. There you go. Yeah, 2 years, 7 months. Oh my goodness. So like 2.5 years for you, Arkham. My goodness. My goodness. And then, yeah, I mean, like, that's just 2 years of subscribing. I'm trying to remember how long you've been following, PC Man. You could check and see. Oh. That was quick. 1 star. Thank you. Alright, here's your star, PC Man. Alright. Let's get this in the jar. You can't follow yourself. I'm skeptical. No. Can't follow yourself. Can't do it. There it is. Oh, okay, we gotta... Ugh. I don't know, can we fit more? There's like a spot right here. Like maybe 2 or 3 more? Something like that. I can tell there's some room. I'm not gonna like squish them in or anything, but... yeah. A few more, but we're very close. You're saying I'm at the top, yeah. You will forever be at the top of that jar because I think any more that go in are gonna be on the sides. So, yeah. Almost 3 years, yeah. My goodness. My goodness, y'all. Alright, but yeah, we're playing some Ace Attorney tonight. I also have a new internet router. I'm hoping it is better. We'll see. We'll see. Oh yeah, yeah. So you've been following for over 2 years. So you have been here for 2 years. And subscribing for almost as long. 3 years, yeah. Oh my god, Wolf. 3.2 years? My goodness. Or would it be 0.2? I don't know. 3 years, 2 months. I don't know what the decimals would be exactly. What, it's like 1 divided by 12 times 2. I'm not mathing right now. I refuse. That is correct, ma'am. Then we must hear their testimony. The prosecution will of course call them to the stand, should it be necessary. But wait a minute. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of winter, it would have been dark already. Would it? No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen. I am unaware of the situation on your tiny island in the east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by gas streetlights. Okay. 5 p.m. would be dark, but gas streetlights. Okay. When people put inches into decimals, I can never figure out how long something is supposed to be. Yeah, because that's like the exact same situation, because like a foot is 12 inches, so it'd be the same thing, like 12 months in a year. I just, yeah. It's very confusing. The prosecution believes there would have been ample light by which to witness the crime. Right. Here in London, for the first time in history, mankind has completely conquered the darkness. Which means we really need to hear those witness statements. If I could just get through the fog of this cross-examination, maybe we'll be able to. It seems the counsel for the defense is taking stock. Continue with your testimony, Inspector. Okay. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed and collapsed on the pavement.
Hold it!
From behind, you say?
That's right, as you can see from this print.
There's no blood, though.
Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. And you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in a critical condition, comatose no less. I'm afraid so, my lord, yes. She's being treated at Bart's. I was hopeful that she'd come round before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be.
Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of events. It's killing me going back between all these accents. Luck is on your client's side, it seems. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky. Your force of tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid. Ugh. Accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Mr. Natsume's belongings?
I think you'll find it's all there in the photographic print of the crime scene.
Yes, the 3 books on the floor.
That's right, my lord. Second-hand books they were. Irreparably damaged after falling in the snow, of course.
Oh yeah, it's snowing too. Was it snowing at the time? That would decrease visibility. Winter in London. Snow. And then why is the snow disturbed around this? I mean, is it really because she fell in the snow that all the snow's gone? That's weird, isn't it? Why is the pavement visible all around her too? Victim, was it snowing at the time and decreased visibility? Why is the snow melted? Okay. I gotta take good notes, man. The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand, which means... Really? I guess. His other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example. He's very clever, isn't he? What do you mean? He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume had his hands full with his books. He's managed to close the one avenue of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there.
You mean to say that the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrust the knife into the woman's back? That must be what happened, my lord, yes.
And then those be a number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from a shop.
Hold it!
The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis.
Yes, so I understand. Shop full of old English literature.
I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention.
The bloke's room was stacked floor to ceiling with those musty old books.
Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector?
Well, if I must, I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid.
Bourbon Books.
The closest second-hand shop to the accused lodgings is this place here, Bourbon Books. A little place on the corner of Briar Road and Meerschaum Street. As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Briar Road on the opposite end.
I wonder if that's going to stay marked or not. For future reference. Okay, so, Bourbon Books. Where he got the books. For the stabbing. Okay. Alright.
Which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home.
Yep.
Something like this.
Local maps information has been updated. Alright. So that would hopefully stay there.
Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. Defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop.
Yeah, because it's on Briar Road.
Mr. Naruhodo, I think that what the inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance.
Yes, I agree. The most important point the inspector just made being the bookshop's location, the name, or the stock. I would say probably the location. Crucial detail in what you've just told the court, Inspector, is the location of the bookshop.
I couldn't agree more.
So, where is it exactly?
Eh? Are you winding me up, Sunshine? I just explained that! I got the map out and everything, used red bloomin' ink, and drew the bloke's route home on for you.
And I distinctly remember seeing you nod along, Counsel. Oh, yes, of course. I must have been so nervous I didn't take it in. The blunder of the day goes to you, my learned friend. No, not yet. The trial's only just begun after all. He's just nervous, that's all.
Mr. Naruhodo, I would strongly advise you to look carefully through the court record at this stage.
Yes, miss. At once, miss. Sorry I made a mistake, miss.
Inspector, continue with your testimony, please.
I think I got the answer right, though, right? Let's see. Okay, so the X is where the stabbing happened. Okay. I also see Calabash Road marked, so I wonder if that will be important later. This is a receipt. Your books. Oh. No, it's the name of the shop. That's not where he went. Oh, that's why. It gave me a weird response when I said location. Okay, let's press again. That's why she wanted me to look. She's like, listen, something's wrong here. Okay. Let's skip to Myloo. Skip to Myloo. Okay, yeah. Most important point was the name. Inspector Gregson, may I ask you a favor?
What?
Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Yeah, so I can contradict it with evidence.
Maybe.
Oh, well, you know. I mean, yes, it could be a very important clue.
Very well. Not that I can see it being of any great significance. But please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector. Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say.
The man be any more sardonic? He was on his way home from Bourbon Books, a secondhand bookshop he apparently patronizes.
Hold it!
So the shop is called Bourbon Books, is it?
That's right. That's the closest secondhand bookshop to the accused lodgings. And to get from there back to his room, he would have gone right past the very spot where the incident took place.
If I could just confirm one point, can we be sure that the defendant really did visit Bourbon Books on the day in question?
Well, we haven't actually confirmed it, no.
You haven't confirmed it? Why the devil not, Inspector?
Well, the thing is, the shopkeeper's gone on a trip, you see. Left the morning after the incident to collect more stock, I'm told. So we, haven't been able to ask the bloke if the accused visited his shop on the day in question or not.
Oh yeah, am I saying Bourbon? It's Bourbon. Oh my god. I know how to say Bourbon, but I don't know why I do these things. Sorry. Bourbon! I love Bourbon Street in Louisiana. In that case, what did the defendant himself have to say about it?
No recollection.
What?
According to the statement he made at the time, the accused has no recollection of where he'd been.
Of course he doesn't.
The bloke clearly has his head in the clouds whenever he's walking about town. He claims he just wanders into whatever bookshop he happens to be passing and rarely notices the name.
Bourbon time! Didn't look at the words at all. I also took me some time to realize he had no words. Thanks, though. Thank you.
I should say the man ought to learn to look where he's going at the very least.
So, it's just as I thought. Is something the matter?
Inspector, you may continue with your testimony.
Yeah, so that's our hint. And this is the last thing to press. So I guess we'll press this and then present? Matter of working out who the books belong to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. You asked for the help of the famous detective Herlock Sholmes to locate the defendant, I believe.
Stuff and nonsense.
Sorry?
That jack in office, that busybody, just comes and sticks his oar in whether we ask him or not.
But according to what I have here, Mr. Sholmes was shown to the scene by Scotland Yard detectives.
Well, that was nothing to do with me. The lad at the scene must have done it, without my permission.
Oh, sorry, lads.
Oh. I tell him time and again, whenever something happens, send word to headquarters. Then follow your bloomin' instructions.
I see.
If that meddler gets his hands on any details, we'll all be reading it in Rats magazine next month. And you can bet your last farthing that I'll be there too, stripped of all my hard work on the case. Yes, Mr. Sholmes. No, Mr. Sholmes. Aren't you clever, Mr. Sholmes? That's all the thanks I'll be getting.
It's Inspector. If the man is proving detrimental to the Yard's activities, perhaps I should step in and deal with him.
Ooh. Ah!
It appears Inspector Gregson is lost for words. Yes, the Reaper's words carry a lot of weight, obviously.
Anyway, the point is this. That little Japanese bloke's already admitted it. He's admitted that those books all over the pavement at the scene were the ones he bought that day.
Well, yeah, but he didn't admit to killing her. Trying to. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? If you're unable to sway the jury during this cross-examination, I'm afraid that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed. Yes, they're sure to find him guilty. So one way or another, I have to expose an undeniable inconsistency in the inspector's testimony. I already know where it is. It's the second to last thing. And we're presenting the second handbook receipt. I didn't mean to press that. X is the top button. If I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson.
What is it, Sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know.
This is a receipt that we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details the purchase of 3 second-hand books.
And you found that in the accused's room, did you?
Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it.
Go on.
This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Books.
Your Books? Y-O-R-E, I presume?
Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a second-hand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books.
Eh? What?
Inspector, do you know of this other bookshop?
Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books.
It's just that...
Well, it's such a small place, I didn't think the accused would have known about it.
Objection!
But in fact, that is the bookshop which the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves it.
Objection!
Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis.
Objection!
I disagree. I mean, after all, I have the street map here, if that might be of help. Oh, yes, thank you. Have a look at this, please. Yeah, where is it? If the defendant had been returning from bourbon books... then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, your books, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed the location at all. Would that be true?
My, it rather depends on where this other bookshop is, but I do declare it may be a possibility.
Hey, Flame, welcome.
Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said?
Absolutely. It absolutely could be right.
Well, where is it already?
Inspector Gregson, where is this Your Books establishment?
Well, obviously we looked into that. It turns out that Your Books... it's just here on the next corner of Meerschaum Street going east.
Okay. Okay, so I have to change some notes. Bourbon Books is not where N got his books that day. Your Books is where N got the books before the stabbing. On Kala... Oh, where was it? Kala something. Kala... something. Street. Okay. And thankfully they mark everything, so we'll see where Your Books is from now on. That's good. I was worried they wouldn't do that. Hey, bipolar molar, well, voicing every character? Brava, yes. It is proving rather difficult. It really is. But I did that for the whole, you know, original Ace Attorney trilogy. It's just this one, I have to do like several different British accents, and it's a struggle sometimes, but it's fun in the end. It's fun. Yeah, welcome in, Flame and Bipolar. I keep looking at juror number 3 and thinking about that meme with Van Zeke sitting with his legs crossed on the desk, and this guy's like serving him as like a stool and put his knees over. Oh my god. That's so specific. Gregson's voice is great. Thank you.
Thank you, Flame.
Alright, the map's updated. I have to send it to you. Yeah, send it. And there you have it. As you can clearly see now. Oh. Yeah, he'll still have to pass by it, but it could be he went south and then left. I don't know.
My learned Nipponese friend is obviously in training to be a clown, the way he regales us with such witticisms.
Wow. Wow.
To your future career in the circus.
Damn! 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 Oh, that was the wrong honk. Where's the clonk? Someone do a clonk, please. Someone please do a clonk. I don't have it. Thank you. Oh my god. Okay. I've seen a screenshot of this specific moment, and I have it saved somewhere as like a reaction image. Yeah, Van Zeek's encapsulated Twitter's entire vocabulary.
To your future career in the circus.
That is so good. Oh my god.
You put that glass down now, or I'll put it down for you.
Yeah, you better go, frickin'... Oh, what is the frickin' move name? You smack him down, I don't know, put him in a headlock. I can't remember wrestling moves. It's the one that, Leon does in RE4. Frickin' suplex? I want her to suplex him. Just... You know? Yeah. Yeah, suplex. Banzeek's pulled one like that Edgeworth meme where he's handing you the clouds. Yes, I have that one too. I have that saved too somewhere. I didn't think I needed to spell it out, but here we go. If the accused was coming home from your books instead of bourbon books, there's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Well, what if he went down Calabash Road?
You don't know what the man's thinking.
Yes, thank you, Inspector. Ugh. Why are we automatically assuming he went north? Allow me to reiterate for my learned, if somewhat slow, Nipponese friend. Jesus! Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis.
Ah! Oh, that's the wrong one! I meant to do this one. I should just do that sound effect instead of actually yelling. Whenever they're like, ah! I'll just do this. Hold on, I'm gonna move this sound effect button so it's closer to me. Oh, give me a second. I'm just gonna do this now so I don't have to do it with my real voice. 'Cause it hurts. It hurts me. Where's a good spot? I think I will do... Give me a second. I have so many buttons. Hold on. You know what? I'll just do this. Sorry. Hold on, it's taking me a minute. Okay. Alright, got it. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Notice how his hand didn't bleed? Vampire confirmed. Yeah, he does have gloves on. That would protect his hands. He's actually in immense pain right now. He's covering it up. He's just like... Oh no, I didn't read it! Here we go.
As I suspected, you can't fool me, and I don't suggest you try.
What did I say, eh? I've had enough of this now. Beg your pardon. Terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that?
Mr. Naruhodo, we mustn't give up. What do you mean? If the prosecution's assertion is correct, the members of the jury may very well decide that Mr. Natsume is guilty. Ah, she's absolutely right. We must think. We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. They claim Soseki-san must have passed the location of the incident on his way home from your books, but... Well, we have to object. We have to. Yeah, he can't feel his hand now. He's gonna try to do that point thing and it's just gonna be like... just... raise an objection. Because they're just assuming that he would walk that way, but he could very well have gone south instead. It's the same distance. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed. Well, I don't know if it's the same distance because it does curve out and curve back in, but I don't know. It might feel the same walking. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on this map. When returning from your books to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. Also, I say route and route interchangeably, don't question it. It just happens. If the defendant used these streets, look what happens. Yeah, he changed. He arrives back at his... I can't talk, I'm sorry! He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked. Objection. It's been a long day.
Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that that route is what commonly is referred to as the long way round.
Right, because it curves out. But he might have taken the long way, I don't know.
Ah. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home?
Well,
The answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and is the obvious perpetrator of this crime.
Objection!
Yes, I've got it. Obviously, we must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsume which route he took home. I have already informed the court of the accused's responses to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection.
that's right. As I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home.
Well, then he wouldn't have necessarily automatically taken the shorter route then, if he wasn't thinking about it. He very well could have taken the long way.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to experience the late night fog. Maybe he was just on a little stroll and didn't know he was going to happen upon an attempted murder scene. Okay.
I like how everyone assumes he took the most efficient route home and not the most roundabout path ever because he has no sense of direction like me, yeah. That's the thing, like, we're just making an assumption here, but he very well could have taken the long way. I don't believe this! I thank you, my learned friend, and suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Pray, what say you, insightful jurors? But even if that is the case, the defense still...
Oh! They want to fight me. All of them!
I agree with Lord Van Zeeks, wholeheartedly and in every way. What? I don't believe it. Does this mean... We members of the jury are completely convinced now. Oh boy. Very well. In that case, I hereby call upon all members of the jury. Present your findings to the court.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty.
It's my impersonation of each of their guilty.
Those were their real voices. It would appear the jury's leaning is unanimous.
Oh god. Oh no.
How do you like the jury mechanic? It makes it more interesting, but a lot more voices for me to have to do at once. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve Queen and country admirably. Mr. Naruhodo. No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. I have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Turn about. Somehow. It's time to turn around. Those are the eyes of a query not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial. Rights of the defense written into antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago. Call it antiquated if you will, but it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination, if it so chooses. Oh yes, the summation examination qualification is back! Oh, the jury mechanic was introduced in the Layton crossover. Interesting. And then we're supposed to be getting a new Layton game, right? I would like to play that too on stream. I think that'd be fun. Because I haven't played a Layton game before, actually. I've thought about it. Just like I thought about Ace Attorney for a long time before I played it. Yeah, we got pyrotechnics in here and everything. Yeah, very advanced. Very well, counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with a summation examination proclamation. all the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready.
Are we not addressing that a couple of the jurors might have bias?
I'm all too familiar with that Nipponese whippersnapper and his unctuous refusal to throw in his alley. Very well then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty.
Alright. I pretty much remember this from the first case.
Judicial findings!
The jurors' contentions.
For pity's sake, that little Nipponese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he?
If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why, it can only have been the victim.
The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter.
So the poor woman was attacked from behind.
I made the lady's voices the same, didn't I? Well, here's the thing. I saw the first woman before her and accidentally gave them very similar voices. I don't know.
The woman was attacked from behind. Was she? How dreadful.
I really don't care. Can't we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be doing. Your books, yes. Nice shop, that. But bourbon books? No, not worth a visit.
Technically, they probably all have a bias against him because he's foreign. Oh! Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of these characters. They are terrible.
Only minor exceptions, the reasons for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear. When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. And the accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in her green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes. Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant then fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample grounds to convict this man already.
Oh dear, even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt now. Ugh, why did he have to run away like that? And how are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? This is impossible. How can I possibly make a case for the defense? Mr. Naruhodo, this is no time for grumbling. If we want to force the trial to continue...
Yes, I know. I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their minds. 4 of them, at least.
Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward.
You have the floor, Cancel. Begin your summation, examination, declaration, attestation.
Yes, my lord. Just need to keep this trial going somehow, whatever it takes. Come on, Ryu. You can do it.
Ryunosuke. Jury examination, summation, declaration.
The defense's rebuttal. Pity's sake, that little Nipponese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he?
Hold it!
Excuse me, but aren't you... Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I was in the witness stand myself just 2 days ago.
Yes, I had a feeling I knew your face, or the sight of it anyway. If I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you?
That's right. After the gold rush down under, I came back to London to work. And it was all going swimmingly until you started fossicking around. Bruce Fairplay was a man of repute.
Sorry?
Don't think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day. You had me and that young hatter pegged as criminals.
Yeah, that's why he shouldn't be a juror right now, because he's, like, biased, and he'll probably just say he thinks the guy is, guilty because he doesn't like the defense. He doesn't like the lawyer. Oh, well, you know, water under the bridge.
Now there's all sorts of rumors buzzing about, and the police have been badgering me non-stop.
If I could turn back the clock...
Well, anyway, I don't know about the hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. And free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't.
Thank goodness. Alright, maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind, given our awkward history. Oh dear, I wonder what's become of Mr. First now.
If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why can only have been the victim?
Hold it!
You're right that at the time of the incident, the defendant admits to having seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him.
Well, quite! That's precisely my point. clearly that someone wearing green was the victim. And clearly that funny little Nipponese man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit.
But let us not forget, madam, the defendant vehemently denies attacking the woman.
Why, of course he does. If he admits to stabbing her, his life is over. The man is obviously a liver-faced coward. Honestly, claiming the woman simply collapsed before his eyes.
But if that's a lie as you're suggesting, do you not think he would have concocted something more credible?
Oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you are foreign. Who's to say what goes through your funny little minds?
Oof! Reading this out is so painful for me. Having to say this with my mouth and my voice is just very yeah, it's like, whoa. Oh my god. I could tell you what's going through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it.
I do declare the man has already made the admission. He himself has stated that there was nobody else around. Surely the conclusion is obvious. No one else could have possibly committed this awful crime.
Ugh.
If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple.
Your argument is compelling in its simplicity, I must admit.
Oh my, you are too kind, my lord.
That went well, for her. Hey, the man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop in winter. But you can't deny that there were other routes Mr. Natsume could have taken back from your books.
Oh yes, like you drew on the map, you mean? What was it? Calabash Road or something?
Precisely.
Well, it seems to me that what counts is whether the little Japanese fellow actually went that way or not.
Well, yes, that's true.
And at the moment, there's no proof that shows he did, is there?
I wonder... Yeah, not yet. Maybe later. Well, yes, that's true as well.
And as I understand it, the accused himself doesn't remember which way he went, does he?
Well, yes, that's annoyingly true.
Winter nights are dark and cold, so the way I see it, you'd want to get home as quickly as possible.
Well, yes. Why is all this true?
So really, the only thing that makes sense is that he went home along Briar Road.
I'm supposed to be convincing you here.
I have given it a lot of thought, you know. I didn't just make up my mind on a whim that he did it. I mean, if there was some logical reason why he might have gone the Calabash Road way, it'd be different. I'd be happy to reconsider my position in that case, honest I would.
A reason why Soseki-san might have taken the longer way home.
Yes, a good reason. I don't imagine you'll be able to sway this young man's opinion without one.
Hey? Maybe I do have something then.
So the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful.
I just make her voice the most terrible, annoying voice I possibly can.
Hold it!
Whatever's the matter, young man?
You're the wife of Mr. Garadeb, aren't you? The landlord who rents Mr. Natsume his room.
The master's wife? Where do you get your ideas, sir? I'm the maid! The maid, you understand?
She's keeping up that charade? Charade? Oh, I hate myself so much right now. Charade. I know how charade is said. But I was thinking so hard about don't say charade wrong. Don't say charade wrong when you read it out loud, Bishi, on stream for everybody to hear. That my brain, like, purposely made me say it the wrong way. I don't say it like that. I say charade. Okay? My brain just do a funny sometime. This is gonna be awkward. Yeah, it's already awkward, thank you. Why didn't you mention this yesterday? That you'd been selected for the jury in this trial, I mean.
Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone until the day of the trial, you see.
Well, some British people pronounce it charade. You're just too in character. You're absolutely right. That must be what I was. That must be... Yeah.
It was in the letter I received. The instructions were very clear and not at all like a charade, so I'm afraid I had no choice.
I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsume, the defendant takes lodging in your master's house, doesn't he?
Yes, that's right. Although he's only been a little over a week now.
And in that time, surely you must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsume look like the kind of man who would commit a crime such as this? Don't ask her that. Don't ask her that.
Oh my goodness me, yes! He's just the sort.
What?
Spending all his time in that dark and dingy room, sporting that unscrupulous mustache. The man never speaks, and don't get me started on those shifty eyes.
Oh.
All the neighbors are talking about him. I've heard them, you know. People think he must be building a bomb in there or something.
Oh my god.
Oh dear, poor Mr. Natsume. How could people say such things about him? He's just a harmless bookworm, nothing more. Well, you just called him a worm, so... Yeah, but bookworm doesn't mean you're a worm. That's not the implication. It's just that you love books so much that you eat them like a worm would eat an apple, I feel like is what it means. I actually don't fucking know. I'm gonna look up the origin of bookworm now. Okay, origin of bookworm. I stand corrected. The origin of the idiom bookworm probably originated as a somewhat derogatory term for a person who studied or read more than usual. Bugs like silverfish, book lice, and beetles were referred to as bookworms because they inhabited books, thus the idiom. Never mind. It is a mean thing to say, apparently. See, I just romanticized it, because I was like, oh, bookworm, it's like when a worm eats an apple. It's so cute. I think worms are nice. People are too mean in this world. So she didn't call him a worm, she called him like a beetle or something. Ooh, downloading Palia. Let's hope it can run. Yeah, I hope so. Let us know how it goes. They keep talking about how weird Natsume is, but can't accept that maybe he illogically went the long way. Right! My mind goes to my phonetics professor talking about different pronunciations depending on the country of origin. Oh, absolutely, yeah. There are lots of words, like, I think root and route technically would be one. Even within the same country, in different areas with different dialects, words can be said differently, like root and route. There's a difference in like North or South US. I think even like British people would say it a particular way. I just don't remember which one. Probably route or root. No, probably root. I don't know. And yeah, there's lots and lots of different ways to say stuff depending on where you're from, even if it's the same language. So yeah. Pulls out a magic worm. Hey girl, bookworm. Hey girl, bookworm. If all worms were this cute, I think everyone would like them. I think so. I can expect my class to go British at some point to see how well we can discern words said in different accents and how well we understand them. I mean, even to the point where the story I've told before, I used to spell theater the British way because I think I read a lot of books that were like written in Britain. And so I just like picked up on that spelling and then going through school would spell it the wrong way and had it corrected by like an English teacher, and over time had to realize, oh yeah, that's the British way of spelling it. It's not technically wrong, but if you're writing something in the US, you know, I guess you have to write it the US way. I don't know, but anyway. And color as well. British people put a U in color. We don't have that in the US. It's just a C-O-L-O-R. They have a U. So yeah, the theater. Yeah, the theater. Instead of theater. Anyway, I better be careful about inviting this maid to speak. She said enough damning things already. I really don't care. Can we wrap this up? I've got work to be doing.
Hold it!
A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes.
Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too. So is my family's.
Oh.
The likes of you wouldn't understand, but a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat, and neither do the wife and kids.
Oh, I see. That must be very hard.
I go to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left, right, and center. They're after cheap labor to get the roads dug up to fix it. It's a hard slog, from dawn till dusk it is.
So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you?
That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just round the corner from where it all happened, by that old bookshop it was.
That might be important. Okay, juror number 5. You might actually give us some testimony. Okay, was working on the roads near the crime on the day of the incident. Might have prevented Natsume from going a certain route. Okay.
What? Another coincidence. That's right. Meerschaum Street it was.
Oh? Meerschaum Street. On the map, Mr. Naruhodo, there are only 3 named streets. Juror number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please.
What's the point in that? Can't we just get this business over with now?
Please, sir, it's important.
Fine. I'll do it then.
Okay. The day it happened, I was digging up Meerschaum Street from dawn till dusk.
Hold it!
So if I understand correctly, you're a day laborer and you were doing road maintenance that day.
That's right. Like I said, you get a lot of burst gas and water pipes underground in the middle of winter. It's the only time of year fellows like me can actually make a few bob, and I'm missing out today.
And when you say from dawn till dusk...
Well, the work has to be completed within the day, see? No coaches or pedestrians can pass while it's happening.
Uh-huh. I wonder if I could trouble you, sir. Mark on this street map the exact location of the works you were carrying out.
Give it here, then. Let me have a look.
So we'll probably, I forget what the word is, but hit him against or put him with, number 3. Because he said if he could be convinced that he went a different way, he'd believe it, so. There's that connection.
Right, let's see then.
So if he was going from Bourbon books, it'd be fine. But if he's going from your books, he wouldn't be able to go that way.
Uh-huh. Here we are, Meerschaum Street. Yes, it was just here, like. It was a tidy dig, I can tell you. We had to get through all the drifts of snow that had frozen solid.
And at what sort of time did you finish the work?
Well, we started in the morning, and we can't have finished before gone 6, I'd say.
Okay. Meerschaum... Okay, I'm writing my extensive notes in a note file. Work went on until 6 after the crime. Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Snow had stopped coming down, but it was long past dark for sure.
That means the road work was still going on when Miss Green was attacked at around 5 o'clock. Road works on Meerschaum Street, huh?
And last one? Your books, yes, nice shot. But Bourbon books, not worth a visit.
Hold it!
Yeah, it is pitting them against each other, okay.
Sorry? Fold it, you say? Fold what? Fold what?
No, what I said was hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often?
I like the old books they have in there, yes. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about.
And at what time did you visit your books on the day in question?
Well, I was picking out books in there all afternoon, and it would have been just before 5 that I left.
So he probably would have seen him. Okay, so... Number 6 was in your books when Natsume visited. Oh, I just made the connection. This guy is wearing a green coat. If he left just before 5, and then Natsume left after him, he would have said that this was the person in front of him. So then why were his books found at the scene of the crime, I wonder? And then he did say he saw someone get stabbed, so that's weird. But I just noticed that. He's also wearing a green coat. Okay. I'll write it down, but maybe it's not what I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't know. Is also wearing a green coat. Could have been the person Natsume saw in front of him. Okay.
That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about.
Just before 5, you say. Exactly when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about the time?
Oh yes, no mistake there. I remember it well. I'm not about to forget that day in a hurry. Not after the dreadful time I had.
What do you mean?
Well, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and donked my head. It's always worse after the snow stops falling. That's when it's most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. I really thought my number was up.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road.
That's right. I live in Cornpipe, you see. Heading down Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books.
Juror number 6, I must insist that you add that information to your formal statement. It may very well be extremely significant.
Sorry? Extremely sick? No, I'm quite alright now.
Okay. Well, what does he say now? It sends a shiver down my spine to hear the members of the jury so convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt. But I can't help feeling that some of their opinions are rather subjective. I agree. It's the irrelevance of what some of them are saying that sends a shiver down my spine. Still, at least some of their assertions don't actually incriminate Mr. Natsume. That's something. We must use that to our advantage, Mr. Naruhodo. Cunningly. Yes, you're right. Let's listen to the jurors again carefully. And if any of their assertions are at odds, I'll pit them mercilessly against each other. Yes, we want them to contradict each other. Yes, don't hold back. Pit them all against each other. Let me see what the old man says. Now that he has changed. Slipped over that evening myself on Calabash Road, knocked myself clean out, you know. So that actually could have been what Natsume saw. But again, the books were there. The books were at the scene of the crime, and that's how they even found him. So I don't know. Whenever I hear road work, all I can think of is the vine. Yeah, road work ahead. Yeah, I sure hope it does. I think of that all the time. Anytime I see road work ahead sign or, you know, anything like that, anything that reminds me of it. Sure, the old man just wanted for the young lad to think he was sick, or hip and cool, as the kids say. They say rad now. Like radiation. That's the future. Okay, let's press him on this.
Hold it!
And that was at around 5 o'clock, you say, the same time as the victim was attacked.
I don't know anything about the girl who was stabbed, but my dinner's on the table at the same time every day.
And for the record, could you please identify the precise location of your fall? Radiant and cool.
Goodness, it was eons ago now. I'm not sure I can remember.
It was 3 days ago. Try dredging your memory, please.
Well, let me see. It was especially slippery around about... Ah yes, I remember now. It was just on the corner here.
The very corner. Okay. What happened to you then? Were you alright? Whoops.
Well, you don't get too many people down Calabash Road, you see. But there was no one around when I fell. No one around when I knocked myself out. No one around when I came to again, and no one around when I sneezed. So I picked myself up and went back to my nice warm house where my grandchildren were waiting for me. Sad and lonely picture you paint, sir. You were fortunate not to have frozen to death.
Yes, how lucky that he wasn't more seriously injured. True. It sounds like it was very nearly another hospital admission or worse. Ah yes, one more thing. Were you wearing that same green overcoat on the day in question?
Absolutely. It's the only coat I have. Took until this morning to dry out properly. Good job, too, or I'd have had nothing to wear here. So count your blessings, I say. Ho ho ho. I suppose we should... This gentleman certainly had a close shave there. And then we're saying this again, but I don't need to read it, because I already saw it. I don't need to say it again. Alright, so... Whoops. We're gonna pit you against him.
Objection!
First. Those two statements are clearly at odds with one another. At odds, counsel. Explain yourself.
Please don't point. It wasn't me, I swear.
Eh? What? I just want to get this done and dusted. Well, juror number 3.
Oh, me, sir? What do you mean?
Juror number 5's words just now are extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what's been said on our map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited this bookshop to purchase a number of secondhand books. On the same day, we now know that there were works being carried out on Meerschaum Street, making it impassable. Which means that the defendant's route home could not have taken him along Meerschaum Street and down Briar Road.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, what do you think, sir?
Well, yes, you can't argue with that, really, can you? We must have had a good 2 yards or more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way. So, the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings.
Yes, I suppose he must have.
I suppose that must be right, eh? Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. But we see now that he had no choice.
Yes! My lord, Mr. Judge, sir, if I may.
Yes?
I don't think in all good conscience that I can say the man's guilty now. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened.
Yeah, I don't remember if the judge has said, or no, not the judge, the old man, you're meaning. The green coat? Yeah, I don't think he said anything mean about Natsume or anybody. I don't think so. I don't remember anything. What about you, sir? Eh? Who, me? Well, alright then. There's a hole in the prosecution's argument. It should be filled in, that's what I say. There we go. So just a couple more.
Well done, Mr. Naruhodo. That was wonderful.
We've managed to change a couple of minds at least. It's strengthened our position somewhat.
Yes, and it will prompt the other members of the jury to reconsider their stance as well. They'll be asking themselves if their current leanings are really right or not. Now, if we could just identify one more clue or discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Mr. Natsume, we might be able to tip the balance completely. That's exactly what we've got to do. Van Zieks is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to prevent by whatever means we have at our disposal. Thank you, counsel. On with the summation examination, please. Yes, my lord. My lord. I keep slipping between the accents. Okay. Let's see. So we should probably do this one. With who? This one. Yes, we'll pit the lady against the old man. But before that, I'm gonna take a quick break since we're about halfway through the stream. To get some more water, because I'm pretty much out. And with doing all these voices, I really need to have water constantly. So I will be back in about 5 minutes or less. And when I get back, we'll pit those two characters against each other and see how far we can get before the end of stream. Yeah, BRB, y'all. Alright, I'm back. And also... Oh, you can't see it because my camera is so small. Hold on, let me see if a bigger camera will show it. No.
Okay, hold on. I gotta show y'all what I have. Look! Ruuuvo just made this while I was streaming. It's a little sprout! For my headphones! Isn't that cute? We've seen people make these before, but I didn't know Ruuuvo was gonna make some. Little headphone sprout. Here, let me do a zoom. Let me do a zoom on it. Look at that! Pikmin! Well, Pikmin have one leaf, but you know what? Close enough. It's so cute. Pikmin. I'm a Pikmin now! I love it. So cute. I hate that it's like cut off though. I have to be like really low in my chair. Maybe I can like adjust the camera later. Show my little sprout. Okay. I'll just be low in my chair. No one do a posture check. Okay? Or you won't be able to see it. Anyway, I'm back. I've got my water. I'm ready to keep going for now. No! You can't do posture check. I'll just... I'll straighten up my back this way. Oh my god. Something like I'm like leaned back so much right now. Magic worms. Yeah, how about one? And it's just like in the middle. Never mind. We'll put it on the side. Let's do that. Right, you know what? Let's put it on like the... We checked the posture. It's bad. Wow. There, it's in my headphone. I want to know how to crochet plushies so I can make myself a rock Pikmin. Oh, that would be very cute. Crochet Pikmin! I think crochet is a super fun hobby to pick up, honestly. And there's so many tutorials out there now. More magic worms? Okay. Do another one on the other side. More. Okay. I have to make sure it's visible somehow. They're like little headphone earrings now. Okay, so we're pitting juror number 2 against juror number 6.
Objection!
Yes. These two statements clearly show a flaw in the juror's reasoning.
Flaw? What are you talking about, counsel?
Well, juror number 2, juror number 6.
My, whatever do you mean, sir?
I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you. Unbelievable. It's not like I was loud or anything. There is at least one fact of which we can be sure here. The bookshop receipt found in the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of second-hand titles. He then returned home on foot.
The man says he has no recollection of his return journey.
That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes.
Yes, we are well aware of all of this. The poor young woman who was stabbed, obviously.
Objection!
Can we really be sure of that, madam?
My, whatever do you mean?
I'm sure you heard juror number 6's account of what happened to him that day. That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim, who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over on the icy streets in the neighborhood.
Oh my.
My goodness, you mean? That's right. I'm referring, of course, to hard of hearing juror number 6.
Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat whom the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was the jolly old gentleman on the end of the bench here with me today?
That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man has a somewhat similar build to the victim. But look at that.
My goodness me!
Sorry? You need a pee? And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in the green overcoat fell. That read as like he really needed to pee.
On Calabash Road.
Therefore, if the person who Mr. Natsume saw collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6, it means the defendant must have taken the long route back to his lodgings. And if that's true, then clearly The crime scene on Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way. Oh.
Goodness me!
You idiot old man. If you hadn't been so daft as to be roaming about there, we'd have boxed this off hours ago. Wow.
And really, what were you thinking wearing such a befuddling coat?
What did you say to me? Is it a crime for the elderly to walk the streets these days, Is it a crime to slip over on the ice? Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat, is it?
It's a crime to slay!
My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but...
You'd like to change your leaning, I presume?
I do declare that I would. I should like to call for a verdict of not guilty.
Thank you. And I would too.
What?
Is it a crime to change your mind? Is it? Well?
He's immediately back to... kind old man. Alright. Innocent. Innocent. Not guilty. Not guilty. He just wants to live, laugh, love, and serve with his green coat. Exactly.
Well, that Summation Examination proclamation has concluded with a rather large shift in opinion. The eyes, 2, the nose, 4, so the nose have it. Not guilty, they say. Which means we no longer have a consensus among the members of the jury. The trial will continue.
Objection!
Of course. What are you gonna do this time? Splash that in Ryu's face? No, you're gonna break it. Okay.
Would it seem churlish of me to drink from my hallowed chalice moments after raising an objection? Only to crush it in disgust. Pray forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Van Zeeks?
It seems I must retract my earlier remark.
What do you mean?
I mistakenly credited these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer.
Eh?
Whatever do you mean?
Objection!
I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth.
Indeed, stalwart juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road, as he claims. I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement which you had excavated, sir.
That's right. Took me the whole day, and they paid me a measly 2pence for it.
Now, my learned Nipponese friend, tell me, do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents?
Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no.
2 yards is a little less than 2 meters.
Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all. But he said that people had to turn around.
In other words, a distance readily vaulted by anyone of moderate vigor.
Why would he jump over the work? Why would he jump? Come on! You know what you're doing, Van Zeeks? You're jumping to conclusions. You're the one jumping around here.
Okay.
You are.
Would you not agree, my stalwart friend?
Eh? Me? Well, I can't say you're wrong, no.
But did you see anyone jump over it? What?
And did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your works?
Eh? I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time.
No coaches would have had a hope of passing anyway, and we just turn any gentlefolk back when they come. Yeah, so he would have turned them around. Kids just jump right over us all the time. Children.
The accused is no gentleman as far as I can see.
Wow. Wow. Now, of course, I think in this time a gentleman isn't what it is today, where it's just a polite person, a polite man. Gentleman very distinctly is like a class in this time, I believe. So he probably means like, oh, he's not this high-class noble gentleman. He is lower class. Even that is rude. But even so, just because he's a lower class would mean he's gonna jump over it like the kids were jumping over. Come on. Van Zeke's more like Van Stinks!
He's no gentleman. I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in his meanderings around town.
Come on, man. Huh.
The incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found at the scene. There can be no doubt that on his way back to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume walked down Briar Road. Ugh, crushed in a single sentence. And, old man...
Old man, you can talk.
You say that at around 5 o'clock on the day in question, you slipped and fell on Calabash Road. Pray, was there a suspicious-looking Nipponese behind you at the time?
Oh, I'd say as I remember.
He wasn't looking behind him. You don't remember? How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was this old man that the accused saw, but I would lay 1,000 to 1 against you being able to prove it.
Order, order! Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself.
My lord,
you had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve. Why in the world did you not proffer it during the Summation Examination?
I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. I wanted him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. Ugh. But my hospitality has its limits, and they have been reached, I feel.
Ooh. Okay, it's getting serious.
So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over. What are you talking about? My lord, the prosecution requests permission to call its next witnesses to the stand.
Oh. Oh, brother, this guy Van stinks!
Grant, bailiff, bring forth the witnesses and make sure they're not stinky. It's next witnesses. Mr. Naruhodo, do you not remember? We've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses to the incident. Yes, I remember. One of them being a Scotland Yard policeman, no less. I'm afraid that's likely to be the prosecution's next witness. Alright, no matter who Van Zeeks brings to the stand as his witnesses, and no matter what they say, I believe in Soseki-san. I know he's innocent. And I'll keep believing to the very end, until this battle is over. Ooh, I hate that he's so hot. Van Zeeks. Oh, we haven't seen either of these characters. Were they both wearing the same scarf? Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. Alright. I think this is actually a very good stopping point. I don't know if we're an hour away from reaching like a save point, but I have to get up early tomorrow. So I want to make sure we end stream a little early. We got to about 3 hours. I would usually go for another hour, but I do want to stop early today. We will be doing this again tomorrow, though, and I should be able to go for the full time tomorrow. So I think we'll just stop here. Let's see. I want to make sure I could save. Okay. All right. I know we're ending a little early, so I apologize, but I have things I need to take care of tomorrow, unfortunately. Ooh, Palia downloaded. I don't know if I'll play any tonight, because, again, I have to go to sleep. Unfortunately. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. I hope you have fun playing Palia, though. It takes a minute to get into. Of course, with any MMO, you have to, like, get your skills up and get all your tools and stuff like that. But, yeah. Let's go ahead and switch over here. But yeah, that's gonna be it today, y'all. Thank you so much for being here for this sort of short stream. Looks like the internet held up pretty well today. We'll see how it does for the next few weeks. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central Time with some more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and we'll pick back up where we left off. And I'll do more silly voices and British accents and all of that good stuff. And I feel like it's just getting good. We're finally getting into all the witnesses and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see what happens next tomorrow. Yeah, I hope I see y'all there. Yeah, anyway, I hope you have fun. There's my social media. I'm most active on Twitter and YouTube. We also have a Discord if you'd like to join. And there are the raid messages if you'd like to come with us. But either way, I hope y'all have a great night. And I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.